Because in these times, there's going to be so many false prophets and so many false religions, so many other doctrines coming out. You're going to have to know what the real thing is. You're going to have to know. Your spirit's going to have to say, when it hears something that's false, your spirit is going to go bam. And you're going to say, that's not right. I know that's not right. I know the truth. And you're going to be able to stand up against it. You're going to be able to turn your eyes to the right place, because the devil, like I said 100 times, he deceives you. And he's going to use even doctrine that you think is Christian doctrine, and he's just going to twist it just a little bit. Like that much. He's going to turn you from the line. You are not even going to notice that you're veering off the truth. But 2 miles down the road, you're going to be so far gone that you ain't going to know your way back. That's what the devil does. I can't express that enough. He twists the truth. He doesn't come right out and say, hey, I'm trying to deceive you. He makes it sound like it's real. He makes it sound like you're doing the right thing. And then he just twists it a little bit. And you do a little more twist, a little more twist, a little more twist, and next thing you know, you're going around in circles. And you're going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. And, you know, back to what Joe said, I think that's a great point, because, you know, the soldiers have to know how to assemble and disassemble their weapon in the dark, he said. And that's a perfect analogy for how important it is for us to know the Word, because darkness is increasing right now in the world. And I don't know if you guys, I mean, if you guys are realizing it, but I mean, every day I see darkness is increasing. But at the same time, God's light wants to increase in us. The only way His light can increase in us is if we have the Word in us, the truth. Amen.
With all that said, I was going to try to, I just feel that in this place where we are right now, and with the vision that God has given us as leaders for you, that He's going to start stepping you guys up. We're going to start being on camera. We're going to start being on stage singing. We're going to start being the people that God, and if you're here right now, you are chosen by God to be here. And He's going to be using you guys to step it up and to bring His word and His truth to the people. You know, so there's definitely 2 things that we have to approach. Okay, especially in light of being on camera, being in front of many people, being musicians, being speakers and teachers. We have to take into consideration pride. Because, I mean, let's face it, that's the original sin. That's the original sin. That's the one that Lucifer grabbed a hold of, which got him thrown out of heaven. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many different facets to pride. But if you are grounded in humility, and you're grounded in peace and love and goodness and everything that God stands for, then you'll be able to see pride a mile away, and you'll be able to say, stand behind me. It's not about me. It's about furthering God's kingdom and waiting on His direction and waiting on His word and His truth to guide me. You know what I mean? So we're going to, you know, I was going to put this into one night, and we're going to study the contrast between King Saul and King David. And we're just going to take a little journey through the life of Saul and see how pride ended up infiltrating his heart, and he didn't recognize it, and ultimately it was his demise as a king, and everything that had to do with his life just crumbled because of pride. And in contrast to him, we're going to show you that God raised up through Saul another king named David, which was by no means a perfect man. And God does not expect for us to be perfect, but in our imperfection, He does expect us to have humility and have transparency and be able to lament our feelings and ask His forgiveness and continually seek His guidance in our lives and not our own guidance in our lives. And it's very easy to lose contact with that. All right, so let's turn to 1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 15. And we're going to start right there. And I'm going to break this teaching up into 2 nights now, because I think that this right here, especially in the place that this group is in, is so very important that we just can't rush through this. We have to learn this, and it has to become a part of our spirit. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go through some very key things from the anointing of King Saul right up until his pride takes him to a point where God decides to anoint David as king and even train David through Saul, unbeknownst to Saul. Okay, so and then next time we meet for the word, which is two Tuesdays from tonight, we'll continue right where we leave off tonight, and we'll see the other side of the coin where David becomes king, and you'll see the contrast, and you'll see where God does not in any way, shape, form, or fashion honor pride, and where He completely, even in the midst of our sin and our imperfection, He will honor humility and transparency before Him, and He will still continue to use you for His purposes, as He did with King David. So, right here, okay. Now, the whole reason why Samuel was appointed king and anointed to be king was because Israel, after all they went through, right from the very beginning, miracle after miracle, plagues and ocean splitting and manna and food and water for 40 years in the desert, being delivered into the promised land, and God smiting every enemy that they had, still, He wasn't enough for us. We needed a flesh and blood king, and we demanded it. Right here in chapter 9 of 1 Samuel, or no, in chapter 8, it says Israel demands a king. Even after everything that they went through, they couldn't trust God to just be their king, because they couldn't see Him in the flesh. He wasn't in the natural. And for some reason, they could not comprehend that. So, in chapter 9, Samuel is God's chosen prophet. And he tells Samuel to anoint a specific person to become the king of the people of Israel, which is Saul. So we'll pick up in chapter 9, verse 15. And it says, "Now the Lord had told Samuel in his ear the day before Saul came, saying, 'Tomorrow, about this time, I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him commander over my people Israel, that he may save my people from the hand of the Philistines. For I have looked upon my people, because their pride has come to me.' So when Samuel saw Saul, the Lord said to him, 'There he is, the man of whom I spoke to you. This one shall reign over my people.' Then Saul drew near to Samuel in the gate and said, 'Please tell me, where is the seer's house?' Samuel answered Saul and said, 'I am the seer.' Okay? 'Go up before me to the high place, for you shall eat with me today, and tomorrow I will let you go, and I will tell you all that is in your heart. But as for your donkeys, da da da,' and he goes on to express, where he was supposed to go and what he was supposed to do.